Jesse, with all the chances that you had before the penalty came, what were you thinking before New York City put it into the net first?
I was thinking it's a funny game sometimes, right? How many sports does a team dominate like that and then be down 1-0? So, but I wanted to make sure that our team still was aggressive and had confidence and went after the game. They did that, able to get themselves back in. And, a draw feels like a big disappointment because of the way we played and the way we dominated most of the match. We're going to continue to take this as a positive and know that we're a good team and we're moving in the right direction and not have a setback in any way, shape, or form.
Joe and then Brian.
Jesse, I was wondering if you could talk about the formation a little bit, particularly along the back line. Fidel and Kamar both kind of played pseudo-midfield roles.
Yeah.
Was that to kind of negate their counterattack or add weapons to the offense?
Well, it's when we're pressing and defending, it's to make sure that there's not a lot of space in the midfield. And then they laid off so much, right, that those two wound up being the free players a lot. And then those two, it's not that they have to make the game, but they certainly have to initiate how we attack with the ball. So, they came in and sat so deep. I don't know I've ever seen them sit that deep, ever. Clearly they have a level of respect for us, and then they had a game plan. We could have negated their game plan by getting the first goal and then obviously adding to it, but they were able to bottle us up, but hitting the post, doing a lot of things to almost create goals, but it doesn't come, and then we had to chase the game a little bit. So, but it was also a fun game because they're a smart team, they're well coached, they're organized. Then, from our end, we have to make some adjustments and changes, and they're making adjustments and changes. So it's a competitive game, but it's also a smart game. So it's a fun one for everyone to be a part of, and I hope that people appreciate the level of what was going on the field.
Hopefully I have my timeline right, but there was a play on Bradley where it looks like he got shoved a little bit. And then shortly thereafter, I think that's when
scored.
You conceded.
Yes.
What was your vantage?
Brian, you can repeat that timeline if you want.
What was your vantage point on the play? What did you think of that? And secondly, did you think that you guys let down a little bit after not getting that call?
The second part, no. No, I think they just made a play. The first part, so what happens with VAR? So Bradley clearly gets contact so that it's going to be a free header where he's going to basically have the majority of the goal to head the ball into. And it's not going over his head. It's going directly to him where he can score. He gets bumped before he hits the ball, and it alters the shot, which is a foul. It's a foul. So it doesn't get called. And then what you get with VAR is if it's not clear and obvious, so it's a little bit of a tweener. If it were called a penalty, I don't think it would have been reversed. But because it wasn't called a penalty, it's not reversed either. So that's the part that's still the decision of the referee, and it should be I still do think it should be in the referee's hands, right? But that call was not going to get reversed, I don't think, either way, depending on what the call was. Am I explaining myself clearly? Okay. Good. People are shaking their heads.
Go to Brian.
That means yes. Dan's got it.
Jesse, well then twos, and then shortly after that, Briant seems to catch Muil's knee going down. So, and I saw your arms go up like.
Yeah.
So you had two penalties that you thought you should have had.
Yes.
And you didn't get either one of them.
Yes.
How much did that take out of you? How much, or the team?
No, I think we stayed after the game, and so I didn't get it. So if you're saying Alex got his knee clipped, it was hard for me to see on that one. For me, I had a much better angle on the Bradley one. But I don't feel like I felt like we really stayed after the game. And then what you had in the late stages is two tired teams and then a little bit more of an open game. And then the game was up there in for either team to take. We tried finding ways to go after it without exposing ourselves. But in the late stages, it was a little tricky.
The The second part of my question, though, it's not really a two-parter, it's a second question, is you said it was disappointing. How disappointing is it against these guys?
There's a lot of guys were really disappointed in the locker room, and it's obvious why. It's a big rival. It's a game where you feel like that we're the better team for major stretches, and then we don't capitalize and find a way to get the 3 points. So that part, in an emotional way, is very hard to swallow. But in a part of the job of now being a good team and being a good manager is to try to find ways to now look at things clearly and now map out exactly what happened and despite the result, figure out what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. And on average tonight, I thought a lot of guys played really well, that we did a lot of things really well, that we controlled the game that we wanted to, but we just weren't able to capitalize and get the result.
Ives?
Jesse, obviously the rivalry continues to develop and mature, and this year they managed a 2-0-1 record on you and pull the advantage a little bit.
I want to mention the Open Cup, so.
Oh, sorry.
And preseason. Right. We beat them in preseason.
Good point. What hasn't happened yet is a playoff matchup, and you know how that adds to a rivalry. You think this rivalry at this point kind of needs that, and obviously not counting your chickens, but would you like to see them?
Well, I think, I got questions this week like we've played them so many times in the past 2 months or whatever. Feels like 2 weeks. So does it dilute the intensity of the rivalry? I mean, the obvious answer is yes. It does. I mean, it's still one that I think both teams take so much pride in, and I think it's developed into one of the best, if not the best, rivalry in the league, right? For many reasons, but you might be right. I mean, listen, we're fully aware that if we get to the playoffs and we see them, that will be a heavy moment for both teams and one that both teams will be up to, and an exciting proposition for both clubs and for the league. So, we have some time before it's a potential to get to that point, but I think everybody's aware of that.
One more from Dan.
Dan gets 2?
I get 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a lucky guy. Talking about, of course, David Villa, how he was able to take over the match at Yankee Stadium a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Outside of the pass that led to the goal, did you feel Aaron Long had a better game against him this time around?
Aaron was very good. Fidel was very good. Kamar made it very hard, so I feel like that back three was quite good. And their aggressiveness, their athleticism, their intelligence, I think bodes well for the future of what we're doing here. So we've had to rotate a lot of different guys on the back line. We're trying to find, in some ways we're trying to find our first choice lineup. In other ways, we know we can count on a lot of different guys based on what we're going to be seeing. We challenged Aaron Long in the week. We said, listen, if you want to be a big-time center back, then when you play against big-time strikers, you got to find a way to take care of them. And it's David Villa, Giovinco. These guys are not easy to take care of. What great players they are, and we're lucky to have them in our league. But, I think that Aaron took a big step forward in his career tonight by the way he played against Villa. So.
Take one more from Andy.
Okay.
Hey, Jesse, did you hire the guy in the whale suit yourself or pass the hat for that?
No, but I thought, why was he wearing a whaler suit?
They're playing. They moved the home game from Yankee Stadium to Connecticut.
Oh, thanks, Dan. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. All right. Guys, Patrick will be right in.